Hey guys, what's going on? As promised, here's video number 1 on the Army Combat Fitness Test. This is going to be a 6-part video series. Video number 1 is going to be on the leg tuck. So, the leg tuck. I'm sure if you're here, you probably have trouble with the leg tuck or you want to get better at the leg tuck. It's been the one test that has given the Army a massive headache. It's the highest incident of failure across the board, and so the Army probably regrets putting the leg tuck in, I would imagine. They'll probably never admit it, but with the changes that they've made recently, how that now if you can't do a leg tuck, you can do a front plank for a couple minutes to get a passing score for the time being. It's kind of their way of just kicking the can down the road. I don't know why they would have chose the plank. I think they tried to claim that the leg tuck is more of a core exercise than an upper body exercise. However, anyone that's done a leg tuck, I feel they understand it is substantially more an upper body strength endurance exercise than anything else. So there's no carryover in it being a plank. They had a really good opportunity there if they were going to modify it to make it either maybe a dead hang off a pull-up bar or a flexed arm hang, something of that nature that is forcing you to engage and work those muscles that you do need to get strong for the ACFT or just for the leg tuck in general. And I don't know why they would choose the plank, because there's virtually no carryover. Yes, the plank is a core exercise, and yes, having a stronger core and more endurance in your core is going to help on all the tests. But if you know you can't do a leg tuck, but I can just get away with doing a front plank, you're probably just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to do front planks, and I'm not really going to worry about the leg tuck until I have to. The problem being, the leg tuck it's not a test that you can cram for. It's not a mental test. It's a physical test, and it involves needing a big reserve of strength. So the thing when I get emails about people having trouble with the leg tuck, I always ask them, I always reply to all of them, but the first thing I ask them is, how many pull-ups or chin-ups can you do? So pull-ups, I'm talking palms facing away. Chin-ups, I'm talking palms facing you. And the majority, pretty much every single person is, well, I can't do any. Okay, that's priority number 1. And that's really priority number 1 for anybody across the board. The stronger you can be at pull-ups or chin-ups or commando grip, the easier a leg tuck is going to be, because your upper body is going to fatigue out faster. And so if you're not able to straighten your arms, bend your arms slightly, straighten your arms, bend your arms slightly, you're not going to be able to do a leg tuck. I've also had some people in their emails say that they have people in their unit or their battalion that can do a leg tuck, but they can't do a chin-up, they can't do a pull-up. Most likely that person has a weird proportion to their body, because I have yet to come across someone that can't do a pull-up or can't do at least one chin-up that can muster out a leg tuck. So they're the outlier. That's not the norm, and there isn't a tip or trick out there that's going to get you to do a leg tuck without being able to do some pull-ups, some chin-ups. If someone's claiming that, hey, cool, knock yourself out and try it, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm trying to give you the framework of what you need to do, the blueprint of what you need to be doing, what you need to be working on to get your first leg tuck or to get more and more leg tucks. So like I was saying, pull-ups, that should be the priority. Pull-ups aren't an exercise that are super fatiguing or taxing on the nervous system like a deadlift or a back squat. So you can do pull-ups every day or some variation of a pull-up. So there's a lot of places to start if you can't do a pull-up. Now, people like banded pull-ups. I have nothing against a banded pull-up. However, I think a band gives you almost too much help in the bottom when your arms are straight. That's the hardest part of the pull-up, is breaking your elbows, getting your elbows to break so you can start engaging your lats better and pulling yourself up. I have an exercise. I'll link it in the notes below. It's a feet elevated rack pull-up. So your feet are up on a bench, your butt's sitting on the ground. You got a pull-up bar in a squat rack or a pull-up rig, and then you're doing a pull-up. It's a modified pull-up, but it takes weight off of you, and it also helps like really engage your lats as well. The other things are eccentric pull-ups, negative pull-ups. So hopping your chin above the bar and then slowly lowering yourself down. A lot of people get to like that end point and they just kind of fall out of it. That is not going to help you nearly as much as being someone who can control it all the way to the bottom and then stand up, pop yourself up, and do that. So I have a blog out there to get your first pull-up, and it like has progression and stuff in there. So I'll link that as well below. But pull-ups need to be the priority. That needs to be your sole focus for the moment. So if you're someone who can't get a leg tuck, get good at planks. Like you can do planks every single day. Maybe that's why they chose the plank, but you need to be working at getting pull-ups. So anything back related, bent over rows, upright rows, lat pull down machine, anything that is going to focus and target your back is imperative to be working on. But pull-ups, hanging from a pull-up bar, flexed arm hangs, those are super important as well. And I'll have like a little breakdown of what to do below this as well. But pull-ups, priority number one. That needs to be the goal. You need to be shooting for getting 10 strict pull-ups. That should be your goal. 10 strict pull-ups, either hands wide or 10 strict chin-ups. That way you are going to have enough strength in reserve that you can muster out a couple leg tucks, and then from there it's literally getting your pull-up stronger and getting more conditioning, and you'll be able to do more leg tucks. The other big thing is core strength, obviously, and your core conditioning, your core coordination. Comes back to the whole thing of like, if they would have just made it a pull-up, I think people would have failed initially, I'm sure, but I don't think the failure rate would have been so high, and I don't think it would still have so much fear for people in the Army. Now, with your core, obviously, like sit-ups, even if you could max the sit-ups on the PT test, it doesn't necessarily mean that your core is strong or conditioned. It usually just means your hip flexors are well conditioned when someone's holding your feet down to just pull you back up and down, up and down, up and down. Though you do need your hip flexors to get your knees up to your elbows, being able to keep your core braced and tight will make doing pull-ups easier. If you're just a wet noodle hanging on the bar, that's going to be tougher to break your momentum and pull yourself up, because you're losing energy in all these spots. So if you can stay tight, if you can stay braced, if you can keep tension in your arms, in your lats, in your back, in your core, in your legs, if you have tension throughout the entire system, your entire kinetic chain, it will be much easier to do leg tucks. So if you are practicing planks, when you're in a plank, don't just get into a plank and let your body like sag and it's just your bones holding you in position. You should be in a front plank trying to squeeze every muscle to hold that position. So doing hanging core work, so hanging from a pull-up bar and just doing knee tucks or straight leg raises or side-to-side knee tucks. Harambes is an exercise that I do, and it also kind of helps teach you how to lean back and trust the leaning back of the leg tuck. That kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage, but it's legal and you can do it for the leg tuck. But yeah, core, as much as you can handle, make it a daily routine. Same thing with the pull-ups. So if you don't have a pull-up bar at your house, I highly recommend getting a pull-up bar at your house. It can be one of the doorway ones. You can, if you have exposed rafters, down in like your basement, you can just drill a hole and put a piece of pipe up. That's what I had like in my house growing up. So just get a pull-up bar, spend a few bucks, and it will make an immense difference. And if you can get your back strong with the pull-ups, it's gonna help with everything. Your deadlift, I bet, will be easier. You'll be able to throw the medicine ball farther. You will probably have an easier time doing the sprint, drag, carry. So the big thing is, if you have a strong back, it usually means you're gonna be stronger everywhere else. It means you're probably gonna be faster everywhere else. So that's something that, like, I know I keep coming back to pull-ups, but that seems to be the main area that people don't want to necessarily work at because it takes a while. It does. It literally does take some time to get to doing pull-ups. But if you stay focused at it, if you keep chipping away at it and doing something every day, 5 days a week, they will come. I promise you. I've never had anybody that I've worked with not be able to get to pull-ups eventually. The other thing I always like joke with people is they're like, well, I want to do pull-ups, but like I've always struggled. I've never been able to do them, and they just have never really tried for an extended period of time. They will come. One of the simple things: lose a few pounds, right? Like, I know it sounds mean or whatever, but is it easier to move 200 pounds or 190 pounds? Is it easier to move 140 pounds or 130 pounds? So it's like a strength to weight ratio. So if you can get your body weight down a little, it's going to be easier to do leg tucks. The other thing is grip, your grip strength. I'm not saying you need like one of those Captain Crush gripper things, but if you have one, awesome, use it. It will help immensely. But the thing with your grip is, as soon as your grip goes, you're not going to be able to hold on to the pull-up bar as tight. You're not going to be able to engage and initiate the pulling movement, because once your grip's fried, you're done. You're not going to be able to do it. I doubt anyone's going to be hanging on the pull-up bar for 2 minutes trying to like get a couple more reps. It's people, once you hit your number, once you hit your fatigue with your grip, you're done. And so the stronger you can get your grip, the more strength you have in reserve, and the better you will be at leg tucks. So things that you can do without even changing what your exercise routine is right now. If you're someone who does stuff with a barbell, bent over rows with a barbell, you can switch it up and use dumbbells. It's going to challenge your grip a little bit more. If you have walking lunges or step ups or just lunges in general, and you use a barbell, switch it up. Switch it up to using dumbbells or kettlebells, because now the weight is in your hands the entire time. So your forearms, your grip is getting that extra work, and you don't really have to program anything different. If you're someone who isn't on a weekly basis doing farmer carries or single arm farmer carries, some variation of a carry, I would highly recommend throwing them in. Like, I have in all the programs that I put out, whether it's a custom program for someone or any of my TrainHeroic teams, even my Olympic weightlifting team, I put carries in all the time. Not only is it great for your grip, but it's also great for your core. It's also great for that coordination to not just like let the weight pull you down to the side. You have to fight it. So it's like a double whammy type effect. Like you're hitting everything with a farmer carry of some nature. Even getting used to like doing farmer carries with the hex bar, the bar that you are going to be using for the deadlift, is great. I put those in for people that have access to them. But grip strength is super important. The stronger your grip is, the easier it's going to be to do pull-ups, and then the more pull-ups you can do, the easier it's going to be to do leg tucks. So just kind of like back over the thing. Pull-ups, priority number one. Pull-ups, 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 chin-ups, whatever variation you can do. Even if it's mixed grip. So some people find it easier to do a mixed grip. Well, if you think about what you're doing when you're doing a commando or doing the leg tuck, you are doing a mixed grip. Just your mixed grip is going to be spread out when you're doing it. So get some variation in. Mix it up every day. Mondays, work on some variation of a pull-up, whether it's eccentric, banded, using a box to give you a little boost, or that feet elevated rack pull-up I was telling you about. Tuesdays, maybe hit chin-ups and some variation of that. And then Wednesdays, you can do a mixed grip. Thursdays, you can do a commando grip. And then Friday, if you're someone who isn't able to do pull-ups, maybe do some weighted eccentrics. So add a little bit of extra weight to you and work on lowering yourself down slower. Shoot to get yourself, if you're doing something every day, shoot for 3 to 5 sets, 5 to 8 reps, whether it's eccentric, using a band, a little bit of a leg boost. You can even have someone spot you. And if you're going to spot someone, you can just give them a little bit of a boost to get them moving, and then just help them through the motion if they need it. But spot them from behind. Don't hold their feet. That's a terrible way to spot anybody if you're going to spot. Just put your hands like where their shoulder blades are, and just give them just a little bit, and that will help. That will help immensely. So that should be your main focus. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments below. You can shoot me an email, gpshumanperformance@gmail.com. I'll have a link to any of my TrainHeroic teams. I also have a 12-week ACFT train up in there as well that people are having great success with. So obviously I'm biased. It's my stuff. I believe in it. I know it works. So you just got to put in the effort. There's no hack to this. Like, you need to be stronger. You need to be faster. And that's just the nature of the new ACFT. So even though you can get away with just doing a plank right now, work on getting your pull-ups stronger, work on improving your core, strength-wise, conditioning-wise, endurance-wise. If you can drop a couple pounds, like, cool, that's gonna make that easier. Your run time probably will get a little bit faster. And then, like, fourthly, like, focus on your grip, like, get your grip stronger. So doing things like farmer carries and lunges, holding dumbbells is going to be a great way. So I hope this can help. Again, if you have questions, just hit me up below. I reply to everything. Best of luck. See you out there.